Welcome to the Math Map Week 9 Straight Lines. Since there is so much new grammar this week, I asked Tristan his advice on picking just a few to focus on for our first tour. He answered slope. So I have a fun slope song for you coming up. Before I get to that, I wanted to share with you how we used flashcards differently this week. We started the CC Pack notations, and I picked 9 cards, mostly terms we have already seen in the last 8 weeks. I held up the flashcard and my students drew the notation. Then we all practiced naming and defining the notation as they copied what it looks like. They are front and back, so we covered a total of 18 notations. It was fun to see how we already knew so many. This was a welcome change to freshen up our flashcard time. Then we moved to the cover art. The flamingo! We used this picture during our fine arts drawing quarter earlier this year, and my students recognized it. So we had a great conversation about drawing with the 5 basic elements of shape, using OILS, or oils, to help us identify straight lines when we draw. And we pointed out the straight lines in this flamingo art. As we put our check mark on page I-1, we identified that this is our first check mark in 2D. I took this as an excellent opportunity to review the first 3 verses of the Dimension song. After singing about 0D, a point, 1D, a line, and 2D, a plane, we completed the first 4 pages. Someone this week posted a comment asking, how many of these songs are you all using at home with your kids each week? Great question. Oftentimes, my kids will start singing one of these songs when they see a concept from previous weeks while we're doing today's lesson in the booklet. For example, we traced the little box on page 5 for domain and range, and we started singing things from domain go in, things from the range come out, from our general mathematical song. So just like with any song used for memory work, it can pop up organically and unexpectedly, or it can be prompted for review time. Time for new grammar. We can attend to lots of new grammar this week by naming and defining things like orthogonal axes, plane, quadrants, coordinates, midpoint, intercept, ordinate, and abscissa, just to name a few. For our first tour of straight lines, we chose to focus on and memorize the definition of a slope on chart page C92. We attended to the steepness and directions of slopes when we saw them on various pages this week. So, what is a slope? Firstly, ask your students, do you remember in the 1D booklets we traced and mapped on the real number line horizontally and then on the imaginary line vertically? In 1D, it was either the real number line or the imaginary line. Well, what do you see in the 2D symbol? In 2D, that's right. We have both at the same time. The imaginary line is the vertical y-ordinate axis, and the real number line is the horizontal x, abscissa. Tristan told me the terms ordinate and abscissa are used in analytic geometry. After we identified our 2 axes, we were able to see how 2 points connected by a straight line can be horizontal, vertical, slant up from left to right, or slant down from left to right. That's a slope. We signed M for slope. In mathematics, lowercase m is slope. Why? I did a little research to find out the history, and apparently no one knows why. Speculation is M stands for the French word monter, which is to climb, as in to climb a mountain. Others say it was just arbitrary. So we sign M for slope because it is the M in our equation of a straight line. Y equals mx plus b. We practiced signing and saying this new grammar several times this week. Y equals mx plus b. We observed that when a slope of a straight line is slanting upward from left to right, the slope is positive. When we see a straight line that's slanting downward from left to right, the slope is negative. When we see the straight line as horizontal, the slope is 0. When you see the straight line as vertical, the slope is infinity. Sometimes you'll see it as undefined. Tristan and I had a conversation about this and how using infinity describes y's value and is more communicative than just saying undefined. He even showed me how in his favorite calculus textbook, Stewart Calculus, the authors use equals infinity for a vertical slope and y. So all of our new grammar about slopes led to our song for this week. Naturally, slopes make me think of snow skiing down a mountain or hiking up a mountainside. So what better tune to sing about slopes than She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain? Are you ready to hear the song? Okay, here it goes. Slope is a number that describes steepness and direction of a line. Slope's defined as the ratio of the change in the ordinate to the corresponding change in abscissa. The equation of a straight line is y equals mx plus b. When the line slants up, m is positive. When the line slants down, a negative. When the line is horizontal, m equals 0. When the line's vertical, m equals infinity. Lowercase m is slope, you see. You can find that song and lots of other fun songs for new grammar on this playlist here. Focusing on the idea of slope was great for our first tour of straight lines. To introduce the idea of coordinates, we read Circumference and the Vikings Map. This is a very clever adventure story that introduces coordinate geometry. X and Y mark the spot in this treasure hunt. By reading this book, we learned that a set of numbers called coordinates tells us locations of points. Our gospel connection is Matthew 22:36-40. Teacher, what is the greatest command? Jesus replied, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments. These commandments can be illustrated with the 2D orthogonal axes, our vertical relationship with the Lord and our horizontal relationship with our neighbors. Love God, love others. And that's it for week 9. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please share and subscribe. Thank you for watching and have fun learning.